Hey peeps, welcome back to a special continuation of our previous episode. We talked so much we had to split it up, so if you haven't listened to the previous, go ahead and check that out. If you're all caught up, then you may proceed.
You guys want to move into a topic?
Well, sure. Who wants to do a topic? I'll do my topic first.
All right, go for it.
All right. It's not as exciting without John here, because the only person who really doesn't know about this topic is Jeremy. But you don't know a lot of facts about it, so
yes,
that makes it a little bit more fun. So, Jeremy, do you know what a get is?
What a get?
A get, in the terms of religious terms, a get.
No, I don't.
Okay. So what a get is in the Orthodox Jewish community.
This is disassembling of vows-ish, in a sense?
Basically, it's the legal religious document of divorce that has to be signed and approved by the male in the marriage. And it can only be approved and signed by the male before it can be done. It's blasphemous, and it can't be done any other way. Seen by the Torah. If it's done in any other way, it's seen as an unholy act, and it's part of your three major tragedies. After your third major tragedy, it's an unforgivable act, and you must be dead. Must be seen as dead. To counteract this, in New York City, there was a gang of rabbis and Hebrews called the New York Divorce Coercion Gang.
Hell yeah. I've been telling them to do this for like a long time.
A New York Divorce Coercion Gang led by Mandel Epstein. Epstein, or better known as the Prodfather.
Okay, why are you both looking at me?
Because we're excited.
Dude, this is the
This
Prodfather.
is the fucking Prodfather.
You don't know the Prodfather?
No.
Oh, God.
This dude,
Prepare to have your fucking mind melted by the Prodfather.
nearly like a one-man army. Well, not really a one-man army,
No,
but a one-man
he never really did anything. He just had his goons go do anything. Anyway, the Prodfather.
So how unfair do you feel like this whole get thing is?
That the male has to be the
Yes.
one to sign it? I mean, that's really unfair.
Yes. So for me, it sounds as though like the woman is pretty much a slave to the husband.
Well, that's the way it pretty much is in most
right.
Abrahamic,
Jehovah's-
To me-
Christianic religions. Any like book-based religion, the woman is seen as property.
Right.
Well, and to me, nine out of 10 divorces are usually, I think, the woman's.
It is. The majority of all the divorces are caused by women. And
Right.
It's not caught, like it's
not
their
caused.
decision to.
some of them are caused.
Well, yeah, but I just wanted to clarify that if that's what you were saying.
I just
meant-
wanted to say that like bitches be tripping. So
You can't stop a
Some-
bitch from
yeah.
tripping.
Yeah, some do trip.
but I do use the word bitches universally. So
Yeah.
all right, go ahead.
Yeah, bitches be tripping. All right, Mandible Epstein, 70 years old.
Currently?
Well, he was when he was arrested in 2013, so
Is he still locked up or what's up?
83. Yeah, he got 10 years. So next year he'll be
nice.
out.
Right on. He's going to get a happy
Yeah.
homecoming.
Would.
Or you would say homecoming.
Homecoming.
Hold on. I feel like I just did you an injustice. I'm sorry.
Yeah, right. Jeez. So women would come to him who would be stuck in their marriage, an unhappy marriage, and would come to him. They would give him large sums of money, anywhere from $25,000 to $100,000, depending on the situation, depending on the husband. And he would go with it. The numbers would change, but generally he would organize three rabbis and anywhere between 6 to 8 men. They would, in essence, set up, in the examples that I've seen, he would set up a real estate deal that the husband couldn't refuse, it was generally always a real estate deal, and he would get the husband interested in it, and they would take the husband to see the real estate deal. The 3 rabbis would be there for paper, and then the goons would cover him with a hood. And a hood. And at first they would try to scare him into signing the papers, coerce him into it. When that didn't work, then they would start targeting different body parts, fingers, knees, hands, with bats and clubs and other things like that, starting more physically. And the reason Epstein got the name Prodfather is he was very fond of using a cattle prod.
Zap, zap.
Yeah. His first person in 1996, he shocked upwards of 30 times along the body and the testicles with a cattle prod.
Darn, darn, darn.
Ouch, 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 ouch.
See our last movie review with Herman Munster go, darn, darn. She zaps him. Never mind. Go ahead.
Darn. Yeah. In 2013, there was a sting operation where a brother and a sister who were gesundheit. A brother and a sister FBI agent went into Epstein to talk about how the husband has been disrespectful and a bad person, and he explained to them what could be done with a screwdriver and a plastic bag and a rope, and if that didn't work, they could use hammers, and explained to them about the cattle prod and whatnot, and they set up a sting for him, which he would not be there, but he would get arrested later for racketeering. He was lucky enough to avoid the death penalty for all the cases because they could not prove a lot of the cases, but yet they were able to get him for 10 years on his involvement in that case. Some of the other people who were arrested were a lot of like professors of colleges and doctors and scholars and the three rabbis, very well-to-do people in the community, but they believed that they should be above the law due to it was just a crazy Jew thing. That's the way they thought they could get away with it. It's just a Jew thing. It's just the thing the crazy Jews do.
A few things that's kind of outside the operative, like usually in Jewish culture or Jewish communities, the Jews do a really good time of policing their own.
And they really do, especially in the Orthodox Jew community. Like they are very good and they have very strict rules. Because like I was saying, the cardinal sins and for the life of me, I apologize. The Hasidic Jew and the very stern Jew, it's not that very far from me. But I know the very cardinal sins are the very cardinal unforgivable things. I know you are allowed 3, and then it was seen as like your
Death.
Ticket's punched. Yeah.
Done.
Enjoy hell.
You're a nobody.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
And a lot of those were as simple as eating pork and,
Bacon's
working
good.
on the Sabbath and stuff like that. And I know the breaking the marriage was seen as one of those. One of the things Epstein was supposed to do as a rabbi, the husband has to okay the divorce, but you also have to sit down with said husband and go through testimony and make sure that the divorce is seen as logical.
Yeah. Even going outside of or trying to end the marriage, it's kind of its own ritual as well. Like everything has its processes and it has to be set forth in a specific way.
Right.
Kind of recap everything that we kind of just said. Like the way that when I came across this story and I kind of like been pushing it to him since we were in the old studio for the most part.
Yeah.
It's like, I understood it as like a Jewish mafia type of guy. And
basically, he was like the head of a mafia hitman group.
So this isn't necessarily anywhere tied into an actual Jewish mafia. It's like his own thing.
It was his own group of people who were they would come to him and he would be like, I'll take care of it.
Right.
Like
So-
he was the Jewish mafia.
These women would try to find seatings with this guy as far as like, I'm in a bad marriage and my husband beats me and he, has been mistreating me and like if I stay any longer, I'm going to die type of thing. Like he would sit and hear with these women and then it's like, we'll take care of it.
Basically, the women could tell him whatever they wanted.
Right.
He didn't care. He went where the money was. And that was why a lot of the Hasidic Jews were like, if they looked at it from a purely secular point, like it's bad on a like legal standard level, but it would discounting law and going at the religious level, it's taking it from so much of the financial over religion value.
Right. More progressive.
Right.
Yeah.
Like you're completely disregarding what the Torah says and that female should be obedient to her husband and completely disregarding that for monetary value.
It's kind of hard to walk that line, especially when you are seeing it as like, well, the humanity isn't being recognized, so I have to do something.
And that's such a fine line you walk to with. If you want to be a extreme religious person, your grasp on humanity is thrown in the garbage. Right. Like you can keep a small amount of it for not making yourself a complete scum, but for the grasp of 90 to say 30%, that 60% range is washed. Like you can't acknowledge what makes you a decent human being. You can keep what retains you from being an absolute scumbag, but what keeps you a normal human being, you have to let go.
I feel like it's a necessary. I don't even know if you want to call it an evil. I mean, if you will,
it's what it is.
You have to fight fire with fire sometimes. So when these guys are being assholes and beating on their wives and all this, it's like, how do you like it? You know, we'll bend some fingernails back.
That's what my question here is, and you may have said it. I'm sorry if you did, but did he torture these guys or kill these guys?
He would torture
Mostly
them.
torture.
He would torture them to get their signature.
His approval.
Okay,
he would go in to make the husbands sign the divorce papers so the wife could get out of being married to them.
I feel like if he was killing them, it would have been more than a 10-year sentence.
Right.
Well, that's what I was getting at. I was under the impression he was killing these guys, and that's why I was like, that's...
No.
This sounds like a very lenient sentence, even though did you release a number as far as like how many people he's assaulted?
They didn't have like a total number. They said he's been doing it over 30 years.
Right.
So the first person to turn him in was in 1996.
30 years, maybe every single day except for the Sabbat. Like,
yeah,
with him
6 days a week.
Him in prison, locked up. Don't you think that these women that hired him are in danger now because he was their protector and now
he was the head. There were people below him. I'm assuming this stuff still carried on even afterwards, just not as open.
Yeah, I mean, it's like the snake of two heads. You cut off one head, two will grow in its place. Yeah, he was basically the Charles Manson of the organization. He never got his hands dirty. Like, I'm sure he did back in the day. That's how he got the nickname the Prodfather. But when it came to, like, the case that got him put away, he just organized it. That's why he got conspiracy to kidnapping and racketeering and not actual murder, like assault charges and manslaughter charges or attempted murder charges, because he was elsewhere so he could have a ironclad alibi. But yeah, it's just like in some senses you look at him and like you kind of revere him as a hero. Like, good for him in a society where very little respect is given to females in that certain demographic. That, I mean, it's good to have somebody like that. But in that same demographic, or in a lesser demographic, like the men love their mothers so much and love the elder women in their family so much. Like, there's such a mass of respect. You feel like they'd have more respect for their wives.
I feel like there's
but they don't. There's like a hard line.
Yeah, I feel like there's some repressiveness due to like their mothers or the sternness that they were raised with, that they have to try to take something out on somebody that they now have power over.
Right.
And I don't feel like all of these women they might have just been from like Jerusalem. Thank you.
Jerusalem.
Yes. And, maybe not citizen, but here by marriage. So like the going to authorities probably wouldn't have been much for them, although they would probably have been looked down and frowned upon in the community itself because they handle their own.
Yeah.
What did this guy charge women?
Anywhere between $25,000 to $100,000.
And sometimes, I mean, like that is kind of.
Well, it is and it isn't, depending on the family.
Don't worry, they're taking the money from the Jew, the husband, the Jew husband.
I was going to say, correct me if I'm wrong, Lonnie, but don't like the men in like Jewish relationships, aren't they in charge of all the financial stuff?
And for the most part, they're seen as the breadwinner and the whatnot. It depends on the family aspect. I know a lot of female Hasidic Jews can be doctors, can be lawyers, but like I said, it depends on the family aspect. If they don't have children, she can work as well.
But my thing is, like, I feel like the men would be in charge of like the bank accounts and all that stuff. So wouldn't he be able to be like, oh, she withdrew $25,000? What?
Yeah, but
what's this about?
But at that
time,
I'm sure it's not as like noticeable.
At that point, he's trying to regrow his fingernails back, and
Right.
You put yourself in the male shoes, like, and this goes for all relationships, not just like Jewish relationships, but I just don't understand some guys, like if the woman wants it to be over with, like keep forcing her to be there. How is that any better? Like she's
their property.
But
With these staunch religions, like, well, even if you want to even go with like Christianity and stuff like that, like the word specifically puts like you have to abide by the the husband, the household head of house, his rule.
Yeah, but even if you force this woman to do all these things in the marriage, like I'm sure they force them to have sex with them and stuff. How is that even? How do you get off with something like that, knowing she doesn't even want to be there? She doesn't want to do this stuff. Like I just don't understand like why you would try to force somebody to do these things when you could just end it. You can find somebody else out there that would be willing to do it.
No, you can't though. Because like in these sorts of things, like your, what do you want to call it? Whole lifeline pretty much is tied up in this marriage. Like you have no support afterwards. If you get divorced, your family will even look at you as lesser. They won't take you back in certain families or religions and all that. It's like you're now nobody. Go find your own way. It's like you have no more support group. But so once you're cast off, like a father will marry the daughter off. Now it's the husband's responsibility. And if he gets rid of her, she has nowhere to go.
Kind of unfair to be a female.
Yes. Yeah. That's pretty much what
But then they could just, if that happens, they just sell pictures of their feet on OnlyFans and they're good. They'll make more money than anything.
What else. Is it's not an apostate in Jewish, what is it?
For what?
Like if you become like if you're a hard practicing, like maybe an ascetic Jew or something like that. If you become or I guess leave the religion, it's not an apostate in the Jewish community, is it? What is it called?
Well, I think once you're a Jew, you're always a Jew. Because I stopped practicing and I still consider myself a Jew.
Yeah, there's cultural Jews, there's practicing Jews, and then there's like the mini whatever in between. But like if the religion no longer recognizes you, they call you something. I forget exactly what it was.
Apostates from Judaism.
I guess
Rejection of Judaism and possible conversion to another religion.
They call you a prostate? That's weird.
Yes.
Apostate.
You're like turn and cough.
So this you said the Prodfather gets out in 2023?
2023, unless he's got more time.
Do you want to write him a letter and see if he wants to be a...
Yes.
I'll be waiting for him outside.
I'm pretty sure he has a list.
Father. Yeah, I was looking into the capital punishments and some of like capital punished by stoning, intercourse between man and his mother, intercourse, the punishments for being stoned to death, intercourse between man and his mother, intercourse between man and his father's wife, a man and his daughter-in-law, a man's wife in another stage of marriage, between two men, bestiality, God in God's name, ideal worship, given one's progeny to
These are people
Malik.
to be stoned, you said?
There's a couple categories.
Jesus was a stoner.
Necromancer, sorcery, blah, 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 blah.
Does that say being the...
Witchcraft. I'm screwed. Violation of the Sabbath, cursing one's own parent. And then we got...
Does that say becoming the AEW World Champion?
Hey, yeah.
Congrats, by the way.
Shalom. We got one. Punishment by burning. The daughter of the priest who completed the stage of marriage commits adultery. Intercourse between a man and his daughter. Intercourse between a man and his daughter's daughter. Intercourse between a man and his son's daughter.
Stop.
Intercourse between a man and his wife's daughter, not necessarily his own daughter.
Knock it off.
Intercourse between a man and his wife's daughter's daughter. Intercourse between a man and his wife's son's daughter.
So basically, intercourse with somebody besides your wife.
Intercourse between a man and his mother's daughter's lawyer. Intercourse between a man and his mother's daughter's lawyer's dog keeper's friend.
What about livestock?
Punishment by the sword.
Intercourse with B. Arthur.
Unlawful permitted murder. Punishment by strangulation. Wounding one's own parent. Kidnapping others Israelites.
Oops. That's where he messed up. Because he wasn't.
Yeah, he's just going to get strangled to death. Committing adultery with another's wife, then it does not fall under the above criteria.
There are criteria like what? I don't know. I assume it's relatively the same.
Punishment by strangulation. Prophetizing falsely.
All right.
Prophetizing in the name of other deities.
Like in the Bible, if you die, your wife now has to marry your brother.
Yeah.
And be happy.
What?
Yeah.
A sage of inordination in
imagine it's
front of
related
the
to the same
grand
Torah.
court in the chamber of hewn stone.
What else do you have on that? Not the intercourse part and all that. Prodfather.
Oh,
So he's just looking to be released next year?
yeah, next year it looks like he's supposed to get out. And
So it does have a happy ending.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
he'll be back to work next year. So
Sweet.
And when he gets out, what music's going to be playing?
we'll be there rooting for him. Yeah, go. Got it. Woo woo.
Do it again.
How did you were playing that before?
Yeah.
Maybe I gotta. Ah, God damn it!
Jews for Jesus.
It's not gonna play. All right, I'm sorry.
Jews for Jesus is an international Mosaic Jewish nonprofit organization headquartered in San Francisco,
Good topic.
California.
Good topic.
Yeah.
So no, I heard about this guy like a few years back or whatever or so, and I thought Lonnie would be awesome to take the lead on this one. There probably could have gone.
Yeah, he's a
pretty
better option
far.
than me taking the lead on it.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, because you have a lot of bad things to say about the Jews. If you want to expand on that right now,
Yeah.
Yeah, they dropped a shoe company, I heard.
yeah, Aded did us. Did they?
Yeah.
You saw, well,
Jeremy's Jeezies. So before we get into the next topic, I
do
want
you
to
want to take some medication or whatever and say something
No.
anti-Semitic about?
remind everybody we do have a movie review podcast. It's called the BPT Movie Review.
Clever.
Yeah.
on this exact same channel.
It is. You should have listened to it. It was on last Monday. If you don't check it out, I'm going to give you a little taste of what the BPT movie review is like, okay? Hi, I'm Lonnie. This is a BPT movie review. I'm going to be reviewing the movie 2022's Smile. Here's my review. I didn't. That movie was fucking garbage.
All right. Well, whoa. Hey, no.
End of the movie.
We didn't do that one.
I just did.
Oh, you saw Smile?
Yeah,
Oh,
real bad.
really? I thought it
That's
looked
all
promising.
I wanted to talk about it. It's over. Episode's done.
Did they smile?
The whole time.
If they would have had one consistent smile through it, I think it would have been less dumb. Man, that movie was fucking dumb. I don't like movies that, like, don't get me wrong. I like a good exploitation movie. Like, if you're going to exploit someone, do it to your best. If you're going to exploit mental illness,
There's that music.
right on time. Right on time. If you're going to exploit like a group of people, do it to the best. Don't half-ass exploit a group, especially don't half-ass exploit mentally ill people. It just makes you look dumb.
Is that what that movie's about?
Kind of.
Interesting.
Not like what's eating Gilbert Grape levels, but yeah, basically.
Matching the gas tap. Boom, boom.
I watched a couple of good movies the last couple of weeks.
Oh yeah? What'd you watch?
Well, I had talked about Halloween Ends. I actually liked it.
God, you and you only.
And then I watched Barbarian.
I've wanted to see that. I haven't seen that yet.
I think it's
Holds
pretty
up.
good for the most part. Well, last night I watched Bullet Train.
I've yet to see it. It's my type of movie.
It starts out really slow to me to the point where I'm like, I might turn it off. But I'm glad I stuck through with it. Pretty good. But yeah, so The Prodfather.
Yeah, this is Proud
We've been done with that.
Yeah. I watched
Sounds like a porno title.
Smile,
It is.
which I didn't care much for. I watched My Best Friend's Exorcism, which I loved the book, so I thought I was going to love the movie. I kind of liked the movie until it jumped the shark at the very end. But for the most part, that was a pretty good adaptation of the book. I watched Salem's Lot for the first time.
Really?
That movie is so fucking long.
And it's unnecessarily long.
It's so long, but like the graphics and stuff, I watched it. So I turned the TV in my bedroom on like maybe once a year, and it's the like super HD 4K blah 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 blah. And I took my PlayStation 5 up there and was watching it in like super high def whatever. and it was the 4K resolution. The like movie was so beautiful, I got lost in it, and like it was such a beautiful movie. I kind of didn't realize how fucking long it was, but that was pretty okay. And then I watched. Oh fuck, what was it?
Oh no, what was it?
Must not have been good. Was it memorable?
I know I watched a lot of stuff too, but I can't recall much of the stuff. And I guess it wasn't memorable. Oh.
Ew.
What else?
That podcast do anything for you? Well, that's not all. Stay tuned next week for the continuation of this episode, or whenever these things come out. Later.